Live from our Platinum Place studio here in Accra, this is Newsroom leading the bulletin in this broadcast. 9-month member dies with 4 others in critical condition after fatal motor accident in the Obuasi municipality. Looming crisis as erosion eats away road in Wenchi. Residents call for urgent fix. Recruitment into the Ghana Armed Forces in Accra resumes today after tragic stampede at Elwak Sports Stadium forced a temporary halt to the exercise. Much later, and Business Africa Center for Energy Policy (ACEP) moves against government's attempt to take over Springfield's Afina discovery, arguing that it lacks commercial justification. And elsewhere, U.S. military officials in Ukraine amid reports of draft Russia peace plan. Welcome to this edition of Newsroom. My name is Emmanuel Agyabeng. Now, a member of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat Task Force has died, and 4 others are in critical condition following a fatal motor accident late Wednesday, November 19, in the Obuasi municipality. The crash occurred as the 9-month team was returning from an operation at a mining concession in a unit room recently overrun by illegal miners. Eyewitnesses say the vehicle somersaulted along the stretch between the Inyantrim community and the airport road. Ashanti Regional Minister Dr. Frank Amoakohene described the incident as a tragic loss in a statement on his Facebook page, extending condolences to the bereaved family. He said the fallen officer's death was a loss indeed to the region and assured the family of government support. Meanwhile, Dr. Amoakohene says a full investigation is underway to determine what caused the accident and to guide measures to prevent future occurrences. A rather unfortunate incident there in the Ashanti region. We'll bring you much more on this pretty shortly. But still on the government's anti-Galamsey fight, we head to the central regional belt of the country. We had a National Anti-Galamsey Army Commander, who is also the commander of the Ghana Army Combat Training School, Colonel Robert Nah, has called for more drastic measures in the fight against illegal mining in the country. According to Colonel Nah, such actions could include a shoot to kill if illegal miners resist efforts to stop Galamsey operations.
Speaking in an interview with GHOne News' Agyabeng during a meeting with small-scale miners in the Upper Dentra East municipality, Colonel Nah emphasized that the military is ready to take strong action, but requires government approval. He appealed to all citizens to join in the collective responsibility to fight Galamsey.
You will be going for shoot and kill. What that means is that if we come to the field, anybody we want to arrest, if the person stops us from arresting, it could lead to, apart from but we don't just use that approach. It is when we are given the go-ahead by the government that, okay, use this approach. What I was trying to explain there is that we have several means of tackling the issue as military, and one of them is offensive action. So if it is offensive action, it means that we are ready to tackle anybody who try to prevent us from arresting somebody who is involved with the illegal mining situation.
Supporting these efforts, The Central Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, Kwesi Dawood, reported progress in the fight against galamsey across the region's hotspots. He revealed that over 1,000 acres of galamsey-affected land have been reclaimed in the Upper Dentra East municipality alone.
Armed forces and the RCC can find a common ground with all stakeholders concerned for us to move from reactive to proactive means of combating the destruction that we have been witnessing in our region. So we have been to Aguna-Kwenyako headworks of the Ghana Water Company Limited, where the whole station was shut down for the whole of September due to illegal mining activities all the way from Enum Apapam in the eastern region. We have been here in Dunkorofin today to engage the miners, the small scale and the legal ones, and even the illegal ones, the assembly and the security architecture here, and we have had a fruitful engagement. This is also the epicenter of our land reclamation activities. Hitherto, the land reclamation exercise undertaken by the RCC, we were witnessing cases of drowning in abandoned pits almost every week. But the moment we started the reclamation exercise, all those incidences have been minimalized.
The Upper Dentra East Municipal Chief Executive, George Anani, pledged to eradicate galamsey from the municipality, revealing that over 27 innocent people have tragically died after falling into abandoned galamsey pits in the area.
We are interested in combating the illegal mining menace. In addition to that, we should also be interested in reclaiming the devastated lands. That is exactly what we are doing in Upper Dentra East. We have identified miners who have even left their pits 10 years ago. Some 15. We have identified all of them, and they are ready to, cover the pit, which has become a death trap for majority of people in the various communities. The chiefs, the imams, pastors, galamseyers, small-scale miners, the assembly, everybody is enthused about the initiative. So people have come out willingly to bear the cost of reclaiming the devastated lands. It's ongoing and it's a beautiful thing to see.
The MCE boldly declared that the Upper Dentra East municipality will achieve zero galamsey by the end of the year.
Let's also talk about the efforts in the fight against galamsey, because as we do know, with some unfortunate news yesterday of the NIMOS task force involved in a fatal accident in the Obuasi municipality. One person we do understand is dead and 3 others in a critical condition. We put out a question on social media, and Anama Akwa is on standby to bring us up to date on what you have been saying concerning the incident and more. Anama.
Well, Emmanuel, it is a rather unfortunate incident, and we picked some comments from the Ashanti Regional Minister's Facebook post. We have Uncle Larry, who says it's no longer business as usual. Far too many precious lives are perishing. Our security personnel should wake up to defend the nation. The various security units should be deployed to the galamsey sites permanently until the battle is over and victory is at hand. Daniel Kumi adds, the way the government is trying to solve the galamsey fight is like smoking at the beach. No seriousness attached. Isaac Mensah Dande says, condolences to the bereaved family indeed, and a speedy recovery to the injured. Galamsey needs to be treated, not to be treated with kids' gloves. We have Imoro, Obuasi again. Why always Obuasi? Ghana, we all day. We also have the next comment. May the good Lord strengthen their families in this difficult time. Be strong, sir. Mustafa Hamdan says, I suggest we hold a nationwide prayer again for our country, which should include all the religions. The unfortunate death is too much, and this is not just for nothing. We have Abel asking who actually discovered Ghana, another Black Wednesday in Ghana. We have James Mark, always writing English to console the lost souls. We always put our security men at risk while the solution is so simple to solve. Galamsey fight is a state of emergency or shoot to kill affair, rather than the usual approaches of burning equipment. We have here, his blood must surely be on the heads of those that sent him to his early grave, both the killers and the government. I see. Preko Abiam says, Dr. Frank Amwakohin, let your investigation focus on the type of pickups being used. It could be the cause of the accident. And here is where we stop. May his soul rest in peace. My name is Nanama Akwaima. Back over to you.
Oh, Nanama, thank you so much for sharing the thoughts of our viewers. We indeed send our hearts out to the family of the dead task force member, and we hope that those who are in critical condition receive the care and get healed. Now, coordinator of the pro-environmental group Eco-Conscious Citizens, Dasawula Sewa, has welcomed Cabinet's approval of the Public Tribunals Bill, which is expected to create a dedicated legal framework to fast-track the prosecution of illegal mining cases across the country. While praising the move as a step in the right direction, she is urging government to go further by making individuals and companies responsible for the cost of the environmental damage they cause. She made her remarks on News Tonight with my colleague Benis Abobedu Lanza.
It's a cardinal point. You cannot just destroy the landscape, poison the water bodies, and then you just get a sentence and that is that. If you know that your ill-gotten wealth will be taken away from you and used towards the cause of reclamation, you might think twice before you engage in this criminal activity. And of course, when it comes to the prosecutions, we are looking at high flyers also being prosecuted. I mean, prosecuting Kwame, who is on the pit, is good, but it would be better still if we prosecute the high flyers. This latest development is good, but I think we know some of the kingpins who are involved. Allegations have been made against party chairmen, against members of parliament. The allegations, they should be properly investigated, and we should begin to see persons, high flyers, arrested and prosecuted. Apart from Chairman GHOne to me, who was reported a very long time ago during the past administration, we haven't really seen many high flyers. And unless we see this, the perception is that illegal mining is going on the scale at which it's going on because too many high flyers who are involved are not being dealt with. So the time has come to deal with the high flyers.
Let's take you to Wenchi in the Bono region, where residents are calling on authorities to move in quickly to fix a broken portion of a bridge at Wenchi magazine on the Wenchi-Techi Road. The damaged section, which has been left unattended, has triggered severe erosion that is gradually eating into the roadway. GHOne TV's Nadiri Tati has been engaging a resident.
I remember a tipper truck had an accident here. He failed his brakes and then it slammed into the pillar and then it just broke. But it wasn't this big. So as time went on, rainfall and then the erosion started. And look at how it is right now. We're just praying that authorities can notice it and prevent any casualties from happening here.
Which stretch of the road is this?
This is the road leading from Locust to the Wenchi town itself. The only road available.
And we see that a portion of the bridge has caved in and it's been eroding from time. How long has it been like this?
I can remember for as long as 6 months now. But it wasn't as big as it was just something small, and then this recent rains is washing away the soil.
What have authorities done about it apart from the danger sign they've put there?
Well, I haven't seen any activity going on saying maybe there's a road safety issue, anything here. The only thing I've seen is these things here. And then they keep pushing it back. It was here, and now see where it has reached. Instead of maybe putting some road signs along the road, there's nothing along the road showing this event here. It's very scary, especially when it's raining. You know, I don't pass here when it's raining. I wait till it's gone because the pressure coming from here, and then there's no hole. There's just a small hole there. Instead of, at least, it should have been a giant hole that will allow the bridge. But then I can't pass here when it's raining. I just don't pass here. Just a little gutter. You can even use the camera and see just a little gutter. Instead of a giant hole, maybe a bridge, something. Yeah. It's just this little water that is passing here. So you can imagine the pressure when it's coming. We pray that the MP or maybe the assemblyman can contact some authorities to fix the road for us. It's getting dangerous by every day. When it rains, we just hope it doesn't rain tonight because with this erosion, it's going to erode again.
When you pass here every time, I mean, what goes through your mind?
I just hope no one falls into this. I quite remember there was an accident here. A driver almost fell inside. They had to pull him with some other huge car. So we're just praying that there are no casualties so they fix the road for us.
Away from matters of our environment and our protection of it, the Magistrate Court at the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit, DOVSU, has remanded 3 accused persons, GHOne Odati Lamte alias Nia J, and his siblings, into police custody in connection with a widely circulated video of domestic violence. GHOne Odati Lamte, captured in the viral footage physically assaulting a woman believed to be his wife, has been charged with physical assault contrary to sections 1BI and 32 of the Domestic Violence Act 2007, Act 732. His siblings, Louise Odati Lamte and Grace Kushi Lamte, have also been charged with conspiracy to commit a crime, to wit, threat of harm contrary to sections 23 clause 1 and 74 of the Criminal and Other Offences Acts 1960 Act 29 after they allegedly attempted to attack a female tenant they suspected of recording the incident. The 3 have been remanded into police custody and are expected back in court on December 3, 2025. Matter, we can report to you that a gender minister has actually moved to see this woman involved, and she's now currently safe as her husband is with the police and in custody. Now, we do know that the Education Ministry has announced cabinet clearance for the recruitment of some 6,100 teachers to help address staffing shortfalls across the country's educational sector. Now, briefing journalists in Accra, the Education Minister Haruna Idrisu reaffirmed that education remains Ghana's largest employer and said government is committed to strengthening its human resource capacity.
Don't forget, education remains Ghana's largest employer. So the Director General of GES is here. I understand that some striking teachers are looking for us on the streets of Accra. And then to respond to them, that Cabinet gave approval for us to recruit some 6,100 more teachers, and therefore that category of teachers which belong to the 2023 cohort are adequately captured. I'll be surprised if it is the same group that is on the street. They rather should be looking for us and going back to offices for purpose of audit and identification to be restated to be paid. In addition to the allocation of 39.23 billion, the Ghana Education Fund has been allocated 9.9 billion, including 42 billion earmarked for free senior high school and free TVET infrastructure and services.
We've been joined now by President of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, King Ali Audu. King, good morning and thanks for joining us. You just heard the Education Minister Haruna Idrisu making that statement of Cabinet's approval of some 6,100 teachers to be recruited into the sector. Rainfall, or is just a drop of water in a desert for you?
Good afternoon to all your listeners also as well. And let me be quick to correct that the name of my union, Coalition of Concerned Teachers Ghana, that's now been changed to Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana.
Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana.
PRETAC, yes.
We are grateful.
So, PRETAC. Yes, currently as we speak, we have about 6,000 teachers that were recruited in the previous administration, those that left college in 2022 and have not yet been paid. Then there were another about 6,000 that also left in 2023. They have not been recruited at all. I'm a bit confused as to whether the minister is talking about the 6,000 2022 batch that were recruited and have not been paid, or the 6,000 2023 batch that are yet to be recruited. Because those that the teachers that are yet to be recruited are far more than 6,000. Teachers that have left the various colleges of education and the various universities that run education are totaling and going into about 70,000. So I am a bit confused as to what the minister is referring to. That as it may be, what is hot cake on the table right now are those teachers who has been teaching for about 10, 11 months and have not been paid. We will look forward that they will be paid, so they will have some resources to celebrate Christmas. So when we enter into next year, we pick up the pieces to employ new ones. In fact, at this year's base pay negotiation, the Minister for Finance promised labor that one of the reasons why government is giving a very low percentage raise in base pay is because government wants pay to be able to employ thousands of teachers and nurses that has been sitting home for years, totaling over 140,000. It was rather a bit unfortunate to have read the budget and made it appear as if in the year 2026 there will be no new employment of teachers. So honestly speaking, at this material juncture, I am a bit confused about the cabinet approval that the Honorable Minister of Education is taking. But what I know is that there are about 6,000 people to be paid. And we know that approval has been given for those 6,000 people to be paid, which we are looking forward for the payment to be done this December, because their staff IDs and everything has been released to them. And as soon as you get your staff ID, they don't do biometric anymore. They use a Ghana card. So we are looking forward for those 6,000 people to be paid in December.
Now, if the minister's words is anything to go by, as I was trying to tell you earlier, in his words, he mentioned that those who were striking the 2023 batch, they should go to the offices for audits and verification purposes. Perhaps that could be the batch he's referring to?
Yes. If he said they should go to the offices for audit and verification purposes, it means that it is the teachers that have been recruited already. The teachers that have been recruited already, currently, they have been asked to go to the various education offices for audit and verification. When you go through a process, you are audited, you are verified, and they give you your staff ID. If you are lucky and you get your staff ID this November, next month, December, it's likely you will be paid. So per the minister's statement, it is not new teachers that are going to be recruited. It is about the 6,000 that are recruited already, and government is taking them through a process for them to be paid. And the fact check is that they were recruited in the previous administration, and processes have been put in place for them to be paid likely this month of January or this next month, December, or latest by January 2026. And therefore, I believe strongly that the minister's statement is not a recruitment of an extra 6,000 people, but the 6,000 people that has recruited already, that has been asked to go to the various education offices for verification for their staff IDs for subsequent payment, possibly December this year.
King Ali Aud, we are grateful that you could speak with us, and as he mentions, their union is Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana, Pre-TAG, and he says that the indication they're getting does not show that indeed there will be new recruitment, but really those who are older, those who are going to be paid. We're looking forward to getting more clarity from the Education Ministry on this particular matter, but away from it, recruitment into the Ghana Armed Forces in the Greater Accra region resumed today after the tragic stampede at the El-Wak Sports Stadium, which forced a temporary halt to the exercise. 6 applicants died in the November 12 incident, prompting President John Dramani Mahama to immediately suspend the process and order a full review of safety protocols. With the assessment completed, the Ghana Armed Forces says the exercise is now returning under far stricter controls. Calvin Powell is our man on the ground, and he joins me with an update on what is happening there. Calvin, kindly take us away with all we need to know.
All right, so Emma, as you rightly mentioned, the resumption has begun today. And as I got here, I counted over 100 canopies with numerous sitting positions provided for the comfort of the potential recruits. And the moment they enter here, there's a place allocated for them to sit comfortably, arrange their documents, then the process actually starts. I have here with me a member of the Public Relations Department of the Ghana Armed Forces in the person of Colonel Evelyn Asamoah. I would like to briefly engage her to give us some details and insight as to what is happening and what we should expect going forward. Hello, Colonel. You are live on GHOne television. What you have received today? how many days are we looking at? When the potential recruits come here, what are some of the activities that will take them to make sure that able men and women of the Ghana Armed Forces?
Okay, thank you very much. What we are looking at ensuring smooth process exercise at all the 5 centers that we mentioned earlier. That is the LWAC Center where we are now. We have the Nicholson Park in Bema, Air Force Base, Accra, in Bema Camp as well. We also have the Training and Doctrine Command at Teshin, the Eastern Naval Command at Tema. So these are the centers, the 5 centers for Accra now, for our resumption, since our resumption of the recruitment exercise here in Accra. So what we are looking at, the people enter from the gate. We already have our men positioned at the gate. They assist them, since text messages were sent to them. They assist them as to which team they are supposed to be in. When mentioning team, we're talking about team. We have LWAC here, team A and team. So just to guide them as to whether you belong to team A or team B. They are guided. Some of them make the mistake of even sitting at team while they are team A. So we still continue the guidance. And then from each, this is the holding area. They are seated here, and then we have the IT. They are assisted with getting their documents out and everything ready. The IT experts are here with their machines to check whether these are documents printed from our portal. And then from there, they are successfully guided to the documentation center, where each document that they are required to carry along are checked before they then go to the body selection area. And then let me also add that those who perhaps have slight problems with their IT documentation, we have the IT center, a table there where they approach, and then the experts there assist them to go through their IT process. From there, they continue the documentation and the body selection.
You mentioned 5 centers. These centers, the Ghana Armed Forces, we have the Army, we have the Navy, and also the Air Force. Have you mixed all of them, or each center is dedicated to a particular department under the Ghana Armed Forces?
Thank you very much. We have centers dedicated for the various arms of sets. We have the LPAC, the Training Command, the Park, taking care of the Army potential recruits. And then we have Air Force Base, taking care of the Air Force potential recruits. Then we have the Eastern Naval Command and SEMA also taking care of the potential recruits.
Have you recorded any incidents so far that you want to highlight for people to take caution about?
Well, so far everything has been going on smoothly, as you are seeing around. Everything is provided them with water, because of course the weather is extremely scorching. And then these provisions were even made for the previous exercise before it was held on. Before it was held on, these provisions giving them water in place. Unfortunately, we couldn't continue with the process, and we had to break it and to resume it now.
All right. So, my final question: how many potential recruits do we expect today, and how long is the process going to take before you finally?
Well, we sent a press indicating that we're going to take 600 persons per center. But then we are now taking more than the 600 that we mentioned earlier, based on the fact that whilst Accra's recruitment was suspended, other regions had this still ongoing. So some of the regions are done with their first days. So we have some of the officials now coming down to assist us. This increased number of officials realize that we can still increase the numbers and then cater for a larger number than the 600. We also get cues from ones where they were able to take or cater for more than about 1,000 potential recruits a day. With this, in the hindsight, we realized that we could also increase the numbers that we can handle.
All right. So when are you bringing it to a close? When
we intend doing this exercise for 5 days. That is ending on Tuesday, but it depends. If by Tuesday we still have some numbers to handle, continue. But we intend officially to make it Tuesday, but we still want to give fair opportunity to everyone. So if by Tuesday we still realize that we still have some numbers that the names already reflecting in our system that we haven't taken care of, we'll take care of them. But that doesn't also mean that people who have received text messages should relax if they are expecting date extension before they come. If you have received text message to report on a certain day and at a certain time, do well to adhere to the message.
Thank you so much, Kenel Evelyn over there. So, Emma, that's Kenel Evelyn Asamoah from the Public Relations Department of the Ghana Armed Forces, giving us some insight to what is prevailing here currently. And she mentioned that by Tuesday, there will be a closure to the recruitment process unless extension is given. But she cautioned that no one should sit on their oars thinking that there will be extension, Emma.
Much for that comprehensive update from the Oak Sports Stadium. He's Amanda covering the recruitment which has resumed today into the Ghana Armed Forces. Away from that, the Ghana Police Service and the Nigeria Police Force have launched a major security partnership to combat one of West Africa's fastest growing crimes, human trafficking. Following high-level talks with COP leader Ayako Donko and Nigeria's deputy IGP, both countries have agreed on a coordinated intelligence-led response to dismantle trafficking networks across the region.
Human trafficking, now classified as a transactional organized crime, has pushed Ghana and Nigeria into a new era of security cooperation. At a high-level meeting in Nigeria, both countries agreed to establish a joint task force, set up intelligence sharing, and launch sustained border awareness campaigns across migration corridors. The director of the Anti-Human Trafficking Unit of the Police CID, DSP William Ayariga, says the partnership will also develop standard repatriation protocols, strengthen victim-centered investigations, and enhance multi-agency operations against trafficking rings operating across ECOWAS borders.
We're also to strengthen the joint training, encourage regional multi-agency task forces to investigate and prosecute human trafficking perpetrators.
The police warned that trafficking is increasingly linked to cybercrime, sexual exploitation, forced labor, and deceptive football recruitment schemes, sending youth to India, Qatar, and other destinations under false pretenses.
Ghanaians should be alert. Not every invitation is invitation. People are using the internet, the Facebook, TikTok, and all other means to lure unsuspected young ladies.
The new Ghana-Nigeria alliance marks one of the most comprehensive law enforcement collaborations to date in the sub-region.
The Eastern Regional Police Commander DCOP Joseph Owusu-Bempah has issued a strong warning against attacks on police stations and personnel in the region, stressing that the police service exists to protect lives and property. There's more on this report.
This caution follows recent incidents of attacks on security installations in parts of the country. DCOP Owusu-Bempah delivered the warning during the commissioning of a newly completed police station at Esukuma by the Member of Parliament for Esojaman and Deputy Finance Minister Thomas Nyako Ampim. Construction of the Esukuma police station began in 2015 under Thomas Nyako Ampim, but was abandoned after the change in government in 2016, leaving the community underserved. To ensure immediate operation of the facility, the MP has rented a 2-year accommodation for officers posted to the station. The Deputy Minister for Finance explained that government has designated Esukuma as an economic enclave along the Eastern Corridor Road, making it a priority for major infrastructural and economic development.
The location of Esukuma is very strategic. the prospects, the potential for this town is very huge. That is why we all need to begin to plan for Esikuma.
Yes, he said establishing a police station is key to providing the secure environment required to attract investors.
Infrastructure and logistics are ever support the fast-growing community Esikuma. And one of such is the provision of security police station. That is why we are gathered here today.
District Chief Executive for Agyabeng, GHOne Bobobi, also outlined ongoing development projects in the area, including a 24-hour market complex integrated with the Women's Development Bank expected to be situated in Esikuma.
This road we see here is under the Big Push project. The Eastern Corridor Road we can all see is ongoing steadily. For the first time, we're going to have an interchange here in Esikuma. We're going to have a 5-acre land right here in Esikuma to put up the much talked about 24-hour model markets. It is a market envisioned by the visionary John Dramani Mahama. So the market comes with the Women's Bank that he promised. The market comes with a crèche. The market comes with restaurants. It comes with warehouses. It comes with lockable shops. It comes with market stores. It comes with fire station. It comes with police station. It comes with warehouses. It comes with lorry stations. It comes with guest houses.
Commissioning of the Esikuma police station, authorities say they are hopeful the community will not only benefit from improved security presence, but also experience accelerated development.
Ghana's growing demand for quality healthcare has been met with determination and deep challenges at the Margaret Makwam Nursing Training College in Bando, where severe infrastructure shortages threaten the progress of a promising institution. Despite limited facilities, the college has continued to train undergraduate nurses who are making their mark nationwide.
With just 2 lecture halls and no hostel or administrative block, the Margaret Makwam Nursing Training College in Bando is battling a serious infrastructure deficit. The college, which began academic work in 2021, now has over 330 students, far beyond the capacity of its current facilities. The situation has forced management to adopt a shift system, a stopgap measure to ensure that classes can continue without disruption.
We don't even have hostels on campus, and the community in one way or the other is also serving as a watchdog for us so that we don't get robbers in there looting their things and all that.
The plea came during a triple celebration: the graduation of 2 cohorts, the matriculation of new students, and the launch of the college's 5th anniversary. 85 students from the 2021-2022 and 95 from the 2022-2023 batches received certificates, while 97 fresh students were officially welcomed into the college community.
It's been easy. It's a big challenge, but at least we are trying to fall on the various support systems that we can leverage on to get it done.
Despite its humble beginnings, Margaret Makwam Nursing Training College continues to distinguish itself. This year, it produced the overall best nursing students in the country, a testament to the resilience of both students and faculty.
Sometimes you go to the ward, you don't even have gloves, basic things that you need to work, you don't even have them. But if you go to the ward and I don't have gloves to wear, I don't have syringe to use, when the patient comes in, it feels like I'm incompetent.
Management says it is hopeful that the government and stakeholders will step in to provide the needed infrastructure to match the growing enrollment and strengthen teaching and learning. For now, the college's story is one of perseverance, an institution rising above its constraints to prepare nurses committed to compassion, competence, and community service.
It's now time for us to bring you the latest in our world of business.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
A business brief this afternoon, the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, is against the government's attempt to acquire Springfield Exploration and Production Limited's interest in the Afina oil discovery. The energy think tank says it is a costly and unnecessary attempt. This comes as government confirms it has begun formal processes for a possible state-led takeover. Effort to halt Ghana's decline in crude oil production. But ACEP's executive director Ben Boachi argues the move lacks commercial justification. He maintains that the West Cape 3 Points Block 2 WCTP2 asset already belongs to the state and should be reclaimed, not bought, due to Springfield's failure to meet its contractual obligations. Dr. Yusuf Suleimana is an energy management strategist and currently serves as technical advisor at the Ministry of Energy. Doc, we are grateful that you could join us for this quick conversation. The position of ACEP is that this is a very bad move. Is it a position the ministry has come to terms with yet?
Good afternoon, Emma. I didn't get your question. I think the line is quite faint.
Can you hear me now?
I don't know whether you come again. I can hear you now.
Yeah. So I was asking about ACEP's position on government's acquisition, the takeover of Springfield's oil discovery in the Afina field. According to Benjamin Boachi of ACEP, it is a bad move and the asset already belongs to the state. So if Springfield is unable to fulfill its mandate of drilling the wells and bringing it to a viable state, why should the state buy rather not take over directly?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Though it was a bit faint, but if I can paraphrase you want me to react to ACEP's statement?
Yes.
The acquisition, whether it is or not. I think if you notice ACEP's statement, it's not that ACEP is against that attempt by government to salvage or to be able to arrest the consistent decline. In principle, everybody supports that. It's just probably they thought it's a field that, they consider Springfield as non-performing, and so they thought government should have just taken over without even having the commercial staff with it. Of course, Springfield is still, Springfield, government will still need data from Springfield. There are still the players within the field. So if government is if government is expressing interest in the field, it is just okay that government sits down with Springfield to understand what the asset contains. Because at the end of the day, if you don't acquire any asset when you don't know what it contains, and there's a lot of course, ambiguities and a lot of rough edges with respect to this particular field. But at the end of the day, the reason behind this is what we should be very important, what we should focus on. Ghana crude oil production has experienced consistent decline, undoubtedly. From 2019 up to now, we have about 50% decline. Let's say 2019 thereabout, we're doing like this one as we speak in 2015, we are doing like 25 million. It's an attempt by the ministry to, in a way, arrest this decline. There are other ways we are looking at, but this is just one of the ways. It's like a given a done deal. We are just going to acquire it. That's why, if you notice, the release did mention that we'll go a due diligence, a transaction advisor accompanied by a consultant with a head of art, technology, and technical know. If at the end of the day the assessment is that it's not good to go, it's way to go. So I think it's premature or it's early days here just to discount that. No, I think it's a way that we can explore just to make sure that if for whatever reason, because in the upstream industry, it's very strange. Somebody can go to an area and hit a dry hole, but another person can go to that area and hit, a lot of hydrocarbon reserves. So I don't know, they're assessing the field, getting technical know-how guys to assess the fields, to ascertain, its asset base in terms of the quantum of liquids and gas that the asset owner or the current asset owner is saying it has. So if in that case, I think government is championing the right direction in the way of assessing that if Springfield fields prove acquisition, I think it's going to help change our upstream landscape. Otherwise, even that after the assessment, it is felt that it's not something to go. We advise ourselves accordingly. But I think it's a good starting point in the way of addressing the consistent oil decline. Among all other opportunities that we are exploring, this is just one of them, to be able to assess the field, to see the what it contains, whether it is worth go deeper into it, or it is something that we may not be interested in. Imam.
Well, grateful for that clarification. Since we have you, perhaps a brief comment on the 1,200 megawatts thermal plant that we do understand that government is going to set up from 2026. Already we have GPP2 coming on stream. One is asking, the thermal power plant, do we really need it if GPP2 is going to take gas and as well process gas as we are already doing from Atuabo?
Yeah, so on the contrary, I think the GPP2 is rather to complement that power plant. That power plant needs gas. The gas that is coming cannot be fed into the power plant, especially those from our Jubilee partners. ENI in the budget, when it was mentioned, they mentioned two fields that is going to feed the power plant. One, the GPP2, and the second one is the ENI fields. ENI fields, the gas is already dried. We don't need to send it through process it on the platform, right? But what is coming from Jubilee partners is wet. That cannot go to power through GPP2 to dry it. To concentrate it, dry it, and make it available for power generation. So yes, GPP2 actually would rather make gas. Not the other way around. So I think that it's in the overall strategy of gas to power. And if you notice, over the years, we've been mostly generate power. So if you're able to revitalize our gas handles, make it robust, gas to consistently generate power, I think it's going to give us a lot of huge that liquid-based fuels are not environmental friendly. So yes, GPP2 rather is coming to complement that. It is going to take gas from the Jubilee partners, which is not actually a gas that can be fed straight to the power plant. It has to be processed, and GPP2 will do the processing and to mix with the other one that's supposed to come from the OCT field, that's the ENI fields. In combination, we are targeting about 150 million standard cubic feet per day, 80 from ENI fields, and then probably 70 coming from our Jubilee partners. And we're able to do that in record time. Okay. It should be able to feed the power plant. But at the end of the day, we want to still insist that we need to champion the gas to power, because that is what is required for Ghana's long-term energy security.
All right.
And apart from the fact that we are looking at other value chains like the distribution arm of the ECG that we need to make it efficient, which we are working on. All this encapsulated to make, we are just targeting it to make sure that we have holistic energy security within the sector, Emmanuel.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Yusuf Sulemana. He is an energy management strategist and a technical advisor at the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. Away from that, chair of the Standard Bank Group and co-chair of B20 South Africa, Nonkululeko Nyembezi, has hailed the successful conclusion of the B20 summit under South Africa's G20 presidency, declaring it's one of the most inclusive and practical business engagements in recent years. Addressing delegates, Nonkululeko Nyembezi highlighted that the G20 economies account for 80% of global GDP and 90% of world employment, underscoring the critical role of the private sector in turning resources, talent,
of the past year. I want to just quickly, as I come to close, just reaffirm the principled multilateralism I just referred to in touching on energy transition. It came through that we want this to be principled, to be just. We have highlighted critical minerals as the next area of industrialization and innovation. We've talked about disaster resilience, but if this B20 will be known for nothing else, it was putting debt sustainability on the map. Finally, we hope, that we have put forward practical, pragmatic themes that can be followed through irrespective of who takes over the B20 as we move ahead. And that we have demonstrated in our papers how effective public, private, and philanthropic partnerships can move markets forward and include not only the people in this room, but be very conscious about the inclusion of women and SMEs.
Now that's it for the business brief. Up next is sports.
The business brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Many thanks for joining me here on Sports Brief. I am Monica Bukari. Now, Sports and Recreation Minister Honorable Kofi Idi Adams has inaugurated an 11-member interministerial technical working group for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The group is expected to coordinate affairs and facilitate the preparation and participation of the senior men's national team for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and also to improve upon the performance from the previous editions of the World Cup.
To go for this World Cup and just participate and come back. It is one of the highest gathering at the world level in terms of what? Numbers. So it gives you the platform to market your country and immerse it in the minds of what? People. So we are not just going that Black Stars went, maybe played and even won the World Cup. That is the only news that we will be talking about. We want that whatever level we reach, whether we win the World Cup or we play the semi-finals and play for third place or play for first place or play quarterfinals or whatever, our presence must be felt. And our presence must be felt in different ways and in many areas. You have what it takes. Those of you selected from various targeted ministries are the movers and shakers of what? The ministries. You are more like the warehouse of the knowledge of what goes on in our individual ministries. So you know what a platform like this can do. Like the chief director hinted, there's going to be a ministerial level oversight committee, but we know how busy sometimes your ministers can be. And so you coordinate the works, and you will upscale it and report to this higher committee that will give final endorsement for implementation.
Away from that, Day 5 of the SAC Super Volleyball 2025 enters the quarterfinal stage today at the Baltimore Sports Complex with high intensity as Nigeria Customs reaffirmed their dominance, while Elwak Wings fought back to record their first win of the championship. In the headline match, Gava League champions Calibi were unable to stop the rampaging Nigeria Customs, champions of the 2025 Nigeria Volleyball League. Nigeria Customs powered through the next 3 sets. Now, with this victory, Nigeria Customs remain unbeaten in the competition, having earlier recorded wins against Ghana Immigration and Elwak Wings. Now, Elwak Wings, however, fought back to claim their first win, after suffering defeats in their first 2 matches. Elwak Wings women finally secured a crucial victory against Ghana Immigration. Now, this win places Elwak Wings in a stronger position heading into the final stage of the pool competition. Let's now take a look at the qualified teams and how they are paired in today's fixtures. Army against Benin All-Stars, and the Nigeria Customs also coming up against Ghana Air Force. Ghana Police will also come up against Ghana Elwak Wings, and Ghana Prisons against Ghana Navy. Let's now take a look at that of the women's table as well. And the Ghana Police face off with Ghana Immigration. Ghana Army also face off with Ghana Elwak Wings, and Calibi, of course, faces off with Ghana Air Force. Nigeria Customs, however, also comes up against Ghana Navy. Let's take a look at the standings of the fixtures in both Pool A and Pool B. Now, with the men, we have Pool A ranking Ghana Army Ghana 6 points, and Ghana Prison Service also amassing 6 points, Ghana Air Force 4 points, and Elwak Wings 2 points. In Pool B, we have Ghana Police 9 points, Nigeria Customs also 6 points, and Ghana Navy 3 points, while Benin All-Stars play 3 sets and recorded 0. Now, with the women's table, Pool A, we have Ghana Police 7 points, Ghana Army 7 points, Ghana Air Force 4 points, and Ghana Navy 3 sets played and 0 points recorded. Now, in Pool B ranking, we have Nigeria Customs 9 points on the table, Ghana Calibi 6 points on the table, Ghana Elwak Wings 3 points, and Ghana Immigration 0 points. So these are the fixtures and results, of course, from the Baltimore Sports Complex. This afternoon at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., we certainly will bring you live coverage from the Baltimore Sports Complex. My name is Monica Bukari. Back to you, Emmanuel Agyabeng.
We are grateful, Monica, for bringing us the latest in the world of sport. But we have got some breaking news for you on this broadcast. Now, if you will recall, some 7 years after an incident in 2017 in respect of Major Maxwell Mahama, the Assembly member for Dentra was convicted of a charge of abetment to committing murder. Now, we do understand, as we are hearing from the court, that the Assemblyman for Dentra Obuasi, who was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment for abetting the lynching of Major Maxwell Adams Mahama, has been acquitted and discharged by the Court of Appeal. Our legal affairs correspondent Mutala joins me now with the latest on this particular matter. But for those who are not abreast with the story, you will recall that after some 7 years in respect of the lynching of Major Maxwell Mahama, 7 years exactly in 2024 after his death, a 7-member jury returned a unanimous verdict of guilty against a former assembly member. And we do understand that he and 11 others were charged at the High Court in Accra. Today we are hearing that Court of Appeal has indeed today acquitted him and discharged. Mutala joins me with the details on this. Mutala, help us understand what is happening. As I was telling you, almost 7 years after the murder of Major Maxwell Mahama in 2024, a 7-member jury returned a unanimous verdict of guilty against a former assembly member at Dentra Obuasi in the Central Region by name William Ban. He was found guilty on the charge of abetment of murder, while some others were also found guilty on the charge of conspiracy to commit murder. The jury also returned a guilty verdict on the charge of murder against some other people. If you will recall, after the lynching that led to the death of Major Maxwell Mahama in 2017, the assembly member said he pointed a gun. Actually, Major Maxwell Mahama pointed a gun at him, and he says out of fear, he and his motor rider had to leave. But apparently, from reports that we are gathering, this man who was convicted after 7 years into the murder has been discharged by the Court of Appeal here in Accra. We are trying to raise a conversation with our legal affairs correspondent Mutala Nusa to help us understand the decision of the court and what really led to this particular ruling and determination by the Court of Appeal here in Accra. We apologize we couldn't bring you that conversation with our legal affairs correspondent. Join us on News Tonight. We'll have that conversation and more. And that does it for the entire broadcast. My name is Emmanuel Agyabeng. On behalf of the entire production led by Wisi Didi Jange, we say thank you for watching and have a good afternoon.